Okay, I think we're ready to go. So, hello. We're going to be doing a little bit of painting today. I'm going to try and do a model that's been kind of sitting in my drawer for a while, and that's the HVT for my Japanese JSA army for Infinity. So this one's like a civilian model, but she's pretty cool, painting up a kimono and a rather nice haircut with a little flower in the hair as well. So I'm gonna have a go. I used this model for a video a long time ago to kind of show how the zenithal, when if you zenithally highlight something, you can kind of put a wash over it and you can kind of still see the values coming through. I was still learning how to do a lot of stuff then, but I'm just going to be painting right over the top of this. But we are going to keep the purple, so let's go in with purple. I'm going to jump straight into doing a bit of painting. So I think we're just going to basically just give her a good old coat of purple first. This brush, I think, needed a bit of a wash. I'm going to leave that brush for the time being. I'm going to go and hopefully that doesn't muck up the camera shot for there too much. Oh my gosh. I really need to go ahead and clean my brushes again. Get their shape back and kind of tidy up this whole area. I feel a bit all over the place right now. Right, I'm going to just go straight in with a bit of purple. And we're just going to give the whole dress a nice purple coat there. What we're then going to do is we're going to like put out all of the highlights for the purple. So we'll try and get the whole kimono's color scheme roughly down. Then we can kind of go in and do all the flowers and things. We're just going to do the surface at the moment. We might try and go in and do the face, because the face looks like it's going to be a bit of a tricky one because it's only got a small space for you to paint. So getting that done early is always preferable. But first let's just see if we can get the purple looking nice, and if I can get the right kind of highlights and everything going, and then we can go from there after that. You know what? I feel like my light, and this is going to screw up my whole setup. I feel like I need more light here. That's going to screw up this camera. Yeah. Because I've got it hanging on my light so that you can see the wet palette. Very technical setup I've got here. Quite fantastic. I'm sure you can agree. That just gives me a bit more light to play around with, so that I can actually see what I'm doing. I found the light was not actually falling on the model very well for me. You might be able to see a little bit better as well. Actually gives me quite a bit of space there. That's great. I haven't been able to do any painting for pretty much a week, so since Saturday. So a good 5 days. Just life keeping me busy, and also trying to edit the mission 2 of my playthrough of Infinity Defiance, and that being the heavily animated video that I'm making means that it's gonna take me a little while. But I'm kind of got like a better system down for like how I just kind of produce it. So I've just been able to like grab 10-15 minutes here and there each day just to do a little bit, and I'm kind of quite happy with the pace that I'm able to go at it. But it is still going to take me quite some time. But that's going to slow down a lot of my any kind of other production that I'm doing. But as long as I can at least get on to do some painting and keep myself doing this stream has been good just to get me a couple of hours of painting that I really should be doing at least twice a week. I think that's kind of the aim of it. Okay. we go. So just give that a good old spread. Make sure we've got the thin coats all on there where we need them. Can't quite get in there, but that's okay because that's going to be hard to see. If I can't get my brush in there, it probably means that eyeballs aren't really going to be looking at it either. So we'll just try and get as much of this as possible. It doesn't matter if we go over edges and things, we're just trying to really kind of get that purple on there. Okay, that's good. Alright, I'm going to switch brushes for a bit now. Something that hopefully I can control a little bit more easily. And that'll be nice. Right. We're going to take some of our, I think it's Gene Stealer Purple here. We're going to be mixing it in with our Nagaroth 9, getting a bit of an in-betweeny shade there. There we go. And then we're going to start just building up the layers, making it a little bit lighter as we go across this model. Again, I'm just doing it very roughly. Kind of taking advantage of the fact that it's wet at the moment to do a kind of bit of wet blending. Not that I can do wet blending very well, but hopefully we'll see, you just start to get some blend, natural transition forming. I'm much more comfortable doing I'm much more comfortable doing just layering usually, but who knows, might be able to pull something off a little bit different to what I'm usually able to do. So this is me just kind of using this model as a slap happy kind of painting test. So all the paint right now is still pretty wet, and then I'm gonna just kind of slap it on, see what happens, and then maybe just come back and forth with the lighter and darker shades. So I'm gonna get some of the Gene Stealer Purple now. And we're just gonna start slapping on a bit, hopefully just pulling it in. I'm being like, this is like super rough and I have no idea if this is gonna work. It's probably gonna look horrible. I'll just scrap it and start again, but again, I just want to see if I can build up some sort of a transition through using all of this while it's still wet. You can always add in a bit more later, so I'm just gonna pull that up, pull that up, and it's really loud for me, sorry. I'm just gonna turn down this music. Probably skip this one, it's a little bit too, hey, this one too. Alright, that I guess will be okay. That was a bit much. But yeah, I'm just gonna slap this on. To be honest, I've probably tried to do too much at once, and a lot of it's dried, and so we're not gonna really get that transition that we're looking for at all. That's fine if it doesn't come out. Oh, you see, I've gone over a bit that I should have let dry. Now I'm putting the paint in the wrong places. But yeah, I'll have a fiddle around, see if we can't do something with it. How is this? Okay. Might still be able to use some of this. I'm just lighten it up a little bit. Again. I'm just going to keep that. Remember to pull it up towards where it's going to be lightest, which is up. And yeah, this is looking like crap, to be honest. I think I prefer to go back to my layering. I've gone too bright there, so I'm going to bring that back down, but I'm just kind of curious as to if I can kind of pull off a quick kind of gradient or something, but I don't think I can. This isn't a technique I'm really comfortable with at all in the slightest. I think I've got to keep it wetter for longer so I can produce the transitions I'm actually looking for. I don't know, but yeah, it's not looking great. Let's get a little bit more of that one. And then one of that. I don't like it at all, but I'm just gonna slap paint until either something happens or I just give up and start again. This is my experimentation at the moment. Right, it's a bit darker as well. We'll just go back and forth a little bit, see if slapping this paint will work. Slap, slappy, slappy. And now my music's just kind of stopped on me, it seems. It's always great, isn't it? Why is the music just stopped? That's weird. Okay, see if that keeps going. Okay, we're building back shadows. I think I'm just not very good at placing my paint, to be honest. But I'm going to just try a bit of this one again. Just see if we can't build a little bit of a transition in there. Just kind of bounce it around, see if it takes any kind of shape at all. It probably won't, but to just keep bouncing until maybe something that we like happens to the model. Just hoping that it kind of ends up having a nice blend, but I'm not too convinced at the moment. Yeah, layering is definitely something I'm more comfortable with because I just kind of take my time and do it. This one feels too random for me. Like, I can kind of start to see, just I think through the sheer amount of layers that are being kind of placed on all at once, that it is slowly kind of forming some smoother gradients. However, it's still not, it just doesn't look right because I just don't know where to place my brush properly. That's the main thing here. Trying to just kind of hope for the best. Well, it's starting to produce something. I don't know. It's starting to come on. Oh, sorry. Am I very quiet? Hold on. Let me try and fix that. Thank you very much for saying so. I'll try and improve that a little bit. It might be just my mumbling, to be honest. How is that? Is that sounding a little bit better? You know what? I can always knock out the music as well. Oh, hello Linda. Always nice to see you. Thank you for joining. That's really great to see you. Hope your crocheting is going very well. Oh, it's good. Good. Thank you very much, Ralph. Welcome. Thank you for joining. I'm going to try my best to save this this attempt at doing a semi-wet blend for the clothes here. I'm trying to create a transition, like a fast transition, but this is not like my wheelhouse of painting. I like to take things slow and layer things up. Right now what I'm doing is I'm just kind of slapping paint, hoping for the best, as it's a technique that I'm not that comfortable with, and so this model is kind of just an excuse to have an experiment with, because she's not really in any of my armies or anything, so it allows me to just kind of experiment with techniques I'm not so strong at without having to worry about what happens to the model. So what I'm trying to do is I guess it's kind of like wet blending, although I think my paints are drying too faster than I'm actually applying them. However, just kind of slapping on the paint is, in some respects, creating more and more transitions that are a bit smoother than I was expecting. I thought it was just going to be really blotchy the whole way through, but it is actually starting to kind of take some shape and form. Obviously details and things aren't really standing out so well, But yeah. Yeah, I'd imagine it works better on larger areas. I should be doing it on a much bigger model. You're completely right. Um, oh, that's cool on the fur. Oh, nice. I usually like I don't do fur very often. I usually kind of uh, end up doing like dry brushing kind of thing. But yeah, it would work on fur. That's good. Um, as I said, I'm just using this model as an excuse to just kind of mess around, see if I can actually create any kind of transitions and things. I think I'm failing a little bit, but it's not like terrible. It's there's something there. I'm just kind of going back and forth with dark colors, light colors, dark colors, light colors, and there's I can see a transition. It's not completely not there. I'm gonna go dark again. I'm gonna probably just like ruin everything now. Just gonna yeah. I'm just gonna just want to kind of mark out these areas, and then I can build this one up again. I'm kind of like almost feeling out the areas that I want dark, and slowly working on a better kind of source lighting for them, or figuring out the shadows a little bit better as I go. But we'll see if that actually turns out the way I'm wanting it. I say though, kind of adding these layers in as I go, I am getting a more vibrant color than I usually do, because normally I don't, when I'm just layering and things, I'm not actually putting on, I guess, that many layers of paint, or not that thickness of paint. Here I'm kind of like putting on lots and lots of wet thin layers, and it is starting to become a bit more pronounced, I guess, which is pretty cool. We'll see if it actually turns out any good or not. It is kind of getting there, I guess. It's kind of fun though, just to slap paint around and not really worry about what's actually happening with the model. Yeah. Yeah, I do actually have some glaze medium and things. I am just using water here. I'm just kind of doing a quick slap and try, to be honest. Again, I'm not being too serious with this approach right now. I'm just kind of experimenting with it, but it would be a good idea. Yeah, I could just try it with some glaze medium just to now. I've certainly kind of sketched out a lot of the areas that I want brighter, and then yeah, using a bit of glaze medium will probably be a good idea, just because then I can actually create better, smoother transitions as well, and hopefully get a better effect than what I'm currently getting. But I'm kind of just enjoying just slapping it on to some extent, and yeah, just seeing what happens. I wouldn't mind making some of that arm in there a little bit darker, so let's just slap on a little bit more there. But yeah. There we go. Just going to strengthen this bit a bit. Strengthen it right there in the recess there, and just where there's some shadows being created by the sleeve. Give it some separation. This is me just kind of justifying where I'm putting my brush without really having a plan. Yeah. Okay. Enough of the dark parts. I'm just surprised actually this is taking on some sort of form here. Right? Yeah. Like normally I'm really like pedantic about where I'm painting and doing all of those things. Ah, sorry. Yeah. Thank you very much. I tend to start falling out my window. I need like a marking or something to help me stay inside. But even then, I've tried that before in the past, and it's never worked for me. I just have a natural tendency to want to drift around. Um, this has been the best kind of camera setup I've had after trying so many different types of camera setups. But it's difficult to try and get that one that really works for you, especially when I'm a bit of a drifter myself. Trying to find a comfortable position. But yeah, this is surprisingly fun to just slap around a bit, see if get something going. You know what? I'm not too displeased with it. It's definitely certainly a technique I'm going to need to practice if I want to get any kind of decent results out of it. But it's it looks a little, in some ways, a little bit more natural. Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad it's working out. To be honest, like the setup I have is basically just an iPhone, just up the top there. But luckily it's one of the I think it's the iPhone Plus with is it iPhone Pro, whatever it is, with the three cameras. So I use the telephoto lens. So I keep the camera up pretty high. Use the telephoto lens to get hopefully a decent shot, and then also I'm not bumping my head on the phone or doing anything like that, and it allows me the easiest freedom to be able to just paint comfortably without having to worry too much about the camera. And I've kind of got it set back a little bit, so even if I lean right in, I'm not like bringing my head into shot as well. So it's still avoiding my head, which previously I would always get my head in shot like constantly. So this kind of setup has been working out for me the best. And yeah. And I'm talking as it's now all drying. I'm going to do one last kind of highlighting job on this. See if we can't get like just one nice big bit of contrast going. And hopefully it will blend okay. Just throw that down there. On some of the edges. I've got some weird bloody music on this. I've really got to go through the music and go, no, I don't need this song. It's kind of like a random collection of music I use I've got for using with my YouTube videos and things, and obviously then I just choose the one that's most appropriate. But right now I've just got everything on basically random. And I get kind of weird stuff like this come up. And it just suddenly ends, and then I get this. It's even weirder. I think maybe I should just not have music. I know. Sometimes having the music just is nice to keep my brain engaged sometimes. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I can't study without some music or something in my ear, or do like work at a computer without music going. I find my concentration just doesn't last. But yeah, I'm gonna try and stay in there. Oh, thank you very much for the follow there, Nux Vomica. Welcome as well. That's always nice to get a follower, thank you. So yeah, I'm streaming at the moment on Twitch and on YouTube. So, but luckily, if anyone is joining the chat, you'll be able to see all the chat on the screen, and it's all good. Hey, like at least you're up to mission 3 and 4 of Defiance. I'm still on mission 2. Oh, is it good? Thank you. I'm glad you like the music. Um, I'm still on mission 2 because it takes me so long to edit my my playthroughs for my YouTube channel. And oh my god, I don't really want to just play the campaign, but like I've got to kind of get through using actually editing the bloody things. It just takes me forever to edit them because they just so demanding of a job. But when they are finished, I am pretty proud of them. So right now I'm just kind of editing mission 2. It was played like a month ago. I got the results and things. I had to write the script and create all the extra assets that I needed for it. It's all kind of done. But it's kind of cool to learn how to make these kind of 3D models and things for. No, it's not 3D. It's not officially 3D models, but these 360 videos of the models, so that I can like manipulate them how I need for the videos. It's pretty cool. I'm kind of working on smoother animations of movement and things to kind of make it look maybe a little bit more dynamic than what the first video looked like, but not going too crazy or anything, but just getting it done and also getting like a better workflow with it. So I'm actually editing faster. And it seems to be going well. I'm most of the way through turn 1 for the main animated part of it, and hopefully I can get that done soon. And then that'll go. That first turn will then go on my Patreon for my Patreons to be able to see it turn by turn, and then hopefully I can just knock out as many of them as possible as quickly as possible and put it up on the YouTube so everyone can kind of enjoy them. But my god, it takes me a long time. But there we go. Okay, you know what? This is actually looking a lot better than I was expecting. But yeah. I'm looking forward to getting the Mission 2 video up. I enjoyed playing it. It was fun. It was kind of cool. So I'm hoping the animated version of it will be kind of exciting as well. All right, you know what? I'm fairly pleased actually with how just slapping on the paint there got a kind of a decent go of it. I'll probably have to come back and just clean it up a bit. I can see it a bit splotchy in places, but for the time being, that's working out pretty well. And my music just decided to finish again, didn't it? Let's see if that'll stay on. There's a weird player that I've got for it. I found like if I just use my iTunes and things, that one also cuts out. So I'm gonna find a good music player to just run through the stream. Yeah, thank you very much. I was not expecting it to look anywhere like this. I can still see lots of faults with it, but for an experiment, no, it came out okay. Let's have a go at doing the face, because faces are a pain in the butt. So with the face, how do I want to do this? Now I often use Bugman's Glow for usually like the base of it, but mixing in a little bit of purple in there I find is good for getting the right kind of shadow first of all for the skin, and then we can work up from there, I think, and we're going to figure out what colours we're going to use as we go along. Oh my god, the paint's just dried in the top of it. There we go. Probably get it all over my shirt in a mo. Ooh. Yee. Bubbles out. Yeah, these dropper bottles that I've transferred the Citadel paints in aren't the best dropper bottles in the world, so some of them just kind of gather a lot of goop in the top. So I'm going to try taking some of the purple that we had on the palette there. I'm going to mix it in with a whole bunch of Bugman's, and we'll just get that kind of initial shadow colour that we want for the skin. I find the purple just kind of cools off like the shadow areas fairly nicely. Yeah, that would be an easy fix. I don't like to make things easy for myself. I tend to avoid using washes as much as possible. Not because I think they're bad or anything. They've definitely got their place and things. But I can find I myself would find it very easy to be lazy with my approach to painting, and I do want to be a better painter. Um, as much as possible, I want to be a better painter, and so to be a better painter, I want to challenge myself by not using shades to just kind of just knock into those details. I want to learn to properly layer up to get kind of the controlled effects that I want. Saying that, I just slapped paint onto this model to kind of get an effect that I would normally spend a lot of time on with layering. But it's a technique that I'm not that familiar with, and it was good to just try it out on this test model. Now, what I'm going to do first is we're going to basically just put this initial base layer of skin on, and then once that layer's done, we're going to go and do the eyes, because the eyes are the biggest pain of a model, so it's good to get that done first, I think. Always good to get the eyes done as quickly as possible. But I always put down the first base layer of skin so that I at least, like, once the eyes are done and I've got this base layer of skin, I find it much easier to then fix anything that I've mucked up. And if I don't have this base layer down, then I've got to go over it with a base layer again. Not again. I've got to go over with a base layer with the eyes done, and there's a bigger chance of me just fudging the eyes up after I got them done right. So it's kind of a little bit of my process. So now I believe, is she wearing a shirt? I don't think she is. So I'm just gonna. I may decide to have her wear a shirt, but I'm just gonna kind of paint a skin tone into the kind of the cleavage area of the dress. I don't mind being a little bit messy here, because the lapel, I'm going to be painting a different colour once I get to doing more details. I've just realised I'm freaking hot and sweaty, and it is humid in here, so I've got to turn the aircon on. Alright. Touch of that in there. Having a bit of trouble getting in between the cat and her cleavage. Didn't think I was going to say something like that today. There we go. And then it's the neck down there. Oh my god, yeah, I'm glad I turned on the aircon now, because I am sweating. Alright, so that bit's done there. Alright, I'm going to get me old goggles on for this one. So this is when my family, when they see me like this, tell me I look like that old guy in Toy Story 2 who fixes Woody. So there, that. Hi. So this just helps me to kind of see those smaller details when I need to get into them. So let's see if this black is any good still. To be honest, I shouldn't be using this. This is from last Saturday. So normally I wouldn't use any paint that's been on here, even sometimes for a day or so. But I always like to sometimes go, oh, is it still good to use? seems it's still good to use. Now, the other eye is pretty much not visible because of her hair. So I'm not going to paint the other eye, which is great because one, the left eye is much easier for me to paint because I'm right-handed, and with the left eye being covered by hair as well, it's going to be even harder to try and get in there. So I'm not even going to bother. We're going to just stick with getting a really, hopefully a really good left eye. Now, when you're painting eyes, don't go pure white. We are actually, I'm gonna, this stuff is too gunky, I think now. I'm actually gonna take a little bit of the ice yellow and mix in a little bit of black, see what we get. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna take a touch of the white, mix that in, and we get this kind of grey. Maybe a little bit more white in there. Bring it up a bit. And then we get this kind of off-white. And that is what we want for the eyes. Yeah, it is always true. That's always the case. I'm not a left-handed. I'm just doing the left eye. Because the left eye is easier for a right-hander. Okay, I think we're good. So what I did first was I used black on the socket. Yeah, it's okay. It's sometimes hard to tell because sometimes people often flip the camera as well around and things, so it's not always easy to tell if someone's left or right. And I babble, so I completely understand if you do not catch everything I say exactly as I think it in my head. But what we've done now is, I don't think you can see it so well, I don't know, but what I've done with the eye is I blacked out the socket and then I created my off-white that I was using, and I've just gone inside of that socket. So there's still a black line around that eye. That really ups the contrast on the eye, so if you went and take a look at it, it kind of really helps the eye look like it's popping. Not popping out of its head, but it just accentuates the eye very, very well. If you don't do that, if you go straight to white, then you can't see that outline around it so well. And because miniatures are so small, not having that outline there means that something looks a bit odd about the eye. Whereas if you do this black outline, which if you actually blew it up to real size, it would look completely insane, look a bit like a clown. It actually works on these small models though, because it's just highlighting those details which are very hard to see. Okay, so we're going to go back to the black. We're just going to and luckily this black is very thin now, which is actually working out very much to our advantage. I'm going to basically do up and down strokes. This helps me aim my brush, and then I'm just going to hit the eye where I need it. There we go. Yeah, I got my eye. I'm pretty happy with the placement there. And now it's just a case of cleaning up around the eye. I really don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but what I can try and do, probably not going to get good light on it, but I can switch the camera view a little bit to, let's see if I can go this one. Oops, that's not the one I want. This one. Oh no, yeah, you're not going to see it because it's not. I've not got the light on here, so well. But yeah, I don't know how well you can see that, but the eyes come out pretty nicely. Okie dokie. Right, don't need the head goggles anymore because we're going to just be now cleaning up around it. And then we're going to try and figure out how we do the how we're going to do the skin color. Oh, sounds like my wife's back from her work. She's probably going to come in and say hello. Hello.
さやちゃんはどうだった？
ああ、元気だった。全然大丈夫。一緒にジェンガをやってた。そう、最後に皿は買ったから、多分嬉しい。
開けたらまた怒るから。
そう、でもすぐ寝た。またあれを読んでくれた。
何？
あれの、僕のピクチャーズ。そう。
バルーンギフ
でしょ。はい。今は、ちょっとライブでやってる。今、ストリーミング。毎週の木曜日で一生懸命できる。でも多分みんなは日本語はわからないけど、後でちょっと説明する。今は3人ぐらいいる。よかったです。
だからすごい笑ってんだね。
そう。Yes, my Japanese is not actually insane. It's not so great, but I can do conversational. But I do live here, yes. I live in Japan.
言ってじゃあ。見てくれて本当にありがとう。
My wife just said to say, thank you very much for watching my husband's stream. She knows how it makes me happy that like just being able to converse whilst I do this stuff is kind of fun. But yeah, my Japanese isn't the best, to be honest. I'm conversational, strong conversational Japanese, and I can say it at a pretty decent clip. But anything that gets a bit complex, I do get lost still. So that still happens. But yeah. I guess it does help. I guess I want to say it helps that my wife does not really speak English, so I have to try and communicate with her in Japanese. Haven't studied for a very long time. And so
しようかな私。
何
登場しようかなビデオに。
何登場しよう。彼はこのカメラで見る。Let's say hello. My wife, for the first time ever, has just come on to say hello on the stream.
Hello.
So, yeah, if you have any questions for her, I can translate.
半分だけ。
ちょっと時間かかるね。ビデオ撮るとき、何秒後でみんなは見る。あ、Hello from Germany。ドイツから、こんにちは。また、こんにちは。Everyone's saying hello.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank you, Ralph. Thank you, Nux.
ドイツも行ったよ。
So, and from Wales.
Oh.
Germany and Wales. Oh, you mean you want to say that you've been to Germany? So my wife went on a trip around Europe when we first met. It was literally like we met and then she was off on a trip. She went around Europe. And I think she's probably looking at her Facebook for the photos from Germany, perhaps. I'm afraid she didn't go to Wales. She did go to England because she went and visited my family. But we're from the southeast, and she didn't get a chance to really go many places in Wales. No, she didn't go to Wales at all. Didn't get to go to many places in Britain.
あ、違う。あるかな。
What's that? The photos? 写真、ドイツの写真。
違う、なんかこれがおかしくなっちゃったからさ。
そう。ああ、そう、先、ああ、そう。
スペインで変えたでしょ。
ね、あ、そうですね。
あった。たらーん。
Yeah, Japan's a cool place. There's lots of interesting places to visit in Japan. To be honest, I'm not much of a traveler. So.
ケルン。
Okay, my wife is now going to just kill.
Kenon.
Kenon?
Keron.
Keron?
ケロンじゃない。
Kenon?
これ。
Oh, if you know this place. This is where my wife went when she went to Germany.
ここ。あそこは行けなかったの。
Oh really? I've not been to Shibuya to see the punk scene, to be honest, so I can't mention it.
写真じゃないよ。私が行って撮ったやつ。ですごいドイツのナメクジはフリスクのケースと同じサイズ。びっくりした。
So this is kind of like normal for people in England as well, but my wife was very surprised at the size of the slugs in Germany. The slug was the same size as a Frisk packet. That seems like the most normal thing. That's actually kind of small as far as I'm concerned for slugs. Like in England, I've seen massive bloody slugs when I used to go out on paper rounds and things like that. That one's teeny tiny. But on the other hand, you come to Japan and generally the bugs are just ginormous here.
もうちょうどだからドイツとかの写真は全部ほとんどなくなっちゃったんだよね。
So my wife lost a lot of the photos from her trip, especially from Germany and things. Like her phone just kind of died and she had to get it repaired. Right, they can be pretty enormous, right? And that's a small one, I think, that we got there.
あとはどこの人だろう。
We got Wales and Germany, which I think. Linda, I'm not sure where Linda is from, but Linda is doing crocheting.
リンダ。
なんていうちょっとknittingみたいな感じ。
ミスリンダ。
Miss Linda. Yes.
ミスリンダ。
Yes, she's doing crochet at the moment.
ああ、そうですか。
Yeah. So, she's been actually joining. ちょっと一緒毎週ちょっと見てくれるからよかったです。
ありがと
う。Right. Yes. My wife says thank you very much for coming and watching.
本当にありがとうって思ってるよ。
Oh, cool. Okay, I'll try and check it out. I don't use Facebook very often, to be honest. Actually, I pretty much never use Facebook these days. I have made I had my original account, but I don't look at that just because it's got so many people on there I just never see. And it just updates me with information I just don't care for. So I don't really use it. I did make one for my kind of YouTube, but to be honest, I don't really use it at all, and I got no one on there as a friend or anything because I haven't invited anybody. I kind of stuck with Instagram for my models. Started to do a bit of Twitter that seems to be slowly picking up a bit of steam as well. And then like my YouTube, they're kind of the main platforms I use for any kind of social interactions and things. But yeah, all right, slowly kind of just building on some layers here as I'm talking about. Ah yes, so Linda はアメリカから。
ああ。
そう。
アメリカね。
Lovely meeting you. Yes, thank you very much. But yeah. Oh, it's made my evening. I've just realised I haven't painted her hands or arms, and I've just been doing all of her face. I guess we get the face done correctly. We'll have the paint on here. We can just go back and do it. But yeah, we're starting to build up a nice layer there. I'm gonna go up to Kislev Flesh, just because I feel like a little bit of a paler look is good. Yeah, that's it. I use the Instagram for the painting. And specialist groups on Facebook. Yeah, there are some groups. I just kind of use it for the groups.
これこのネタ
Oh, for God's sakes.
そう
どうして
あなたの顔はバレてるかな
Yeah, they can see me up there.
これを言ってくんない
So, this was... Okay, so my wife, for some reason, wants to show this picture that she found of a poster in IKEA. Or IKEA. Do people say IKEA now in England? Because we used to always say IKEA, but it's actually pronounced IKEA, and I heard since I came to Japan that people started calling it IKEA more in England as well, trying to get maybe the correct pronunciation. I think that's the correct pronunciation. But we were in the IKEA in Japan here, kind of the Kansai one. And there was a poster on the wall, and my daughter, who was maybe 4 years old at the time, basically just ran up to it and was like, "It's Daddy!" And my wife just laughed out loud and took a photo of the poster. It's still IKEA over there, yeah. And so my wife obviously was like so happy that she took a photo of it. I don't know if you can see it very well there. It's reflecting pretty badly. But... yeah, my daughter thought it was a picture of me. But I guess it's flattering in some ways because it looks a lot better than I actually look. So I'll take it as a compliment more than anything. But yeah. But the thing is that, being a foreigner here in Japan, you have that thing of like apparently looking like every foreigner. It's funny. It's kind of the reverse thing that happens in like England and America and stuff, where if you're not used to like a certain ethnicity, then you kind of assume that everyone looks the same. The same sort of thing happens here. Like if I look like every other white guy. So, and me being here for so long, I see the kind of the plethora of difference in Japanese in Japanese ethnicity and things. So it's kind of weird. Like I have that reverse effect going on as well. But yeah, thank you. まあ面白い感じでちょっとはははははは Yes. But yeah. 何を Paint. Oh my god.
ごめんね
So now,
私はいつも邪魔しちゃう
now my wife's like, get on with painting. That's what they're here for. Get on with painting. I think we actually kind of worked out. People don't come here to actually see the paint. They might come for the painting. They stay for the rant. I hope they stay for the rant, or I drive people off with the rant. I'm not sure which, but yeah. Yeah, we're just gonna go in and just highlight the cheeks and the raised areas here. Again, I always have trouble with that right cheek. Pop that in there, get the end of the nose. Now I think I should put, wondering if we go a little bit lighter for one final shade up, and then I'm wondering if I put on a little bit of lipstick or something. I have to decide on what colour for that, because it's always tricky sometimes. I find if you put on the lipstick and it doesn't look quite right, it looks really silly. Yeah, it's just great for a little hobby chat. Oh, painting up 40k Chaos Lord Discordant. Oh, nice. And the white is killing me. Yeah, white is a pain to paint, isn't it? I think the trick with white is that you don't go... Obviously, you can't just go pure white over the thing, because then you got no shading and things like that. And in some cases, it's good to avoid just pure monochromatic colors, like going through the grays, although I do that quite often sometimes. But you actually kind of make it either a dirty white with like some yellows in there, or like a super clean white with a bit of blues in there. But yeah. Okay. But yeah, so the thing is, it's with sake is there's different types of sake, and you may have got one that was supposed to be heated up, and you were drinking it cold. Yeah, so that's Atsukan, I believe, is the name for warm sake. It's really nice when it's warm. Oh God, I can knock that back, and it gives you that warm feeling inside. It's great.
他の人は喋れない
Yeah.
声が出ない
声で出ないよ。
のああそうか
そう。
声出たら
みんなはちょっとチャットでやって。
楽しいのよね
そう。でももし話したかったら、ちょっとディスコードで、人は私のチャンネルに入ったら、話すことができる。でもとりあえずみんなはちょっとメッセージを書いてる。
またみんなが日本に来たらいいよ。
Yeah. So my wife was like, "Oh, can they talk to you directly, or is it just through the chat?" I was like, "Oh, it's just through the chat at the moment." And she was like, "Oh, that's nice. Oh, tell everyone to please come to Japan sometime." So この人ノックスフォミカはもう日本に来た。ちょっと旅行で。そう。だからちょっと冷たい酒を飲んだ時に、ちょっと日本人はちょっと見てた、このバーに来てちゃんとちょっと温めて熱かの飲んでな感じ。But yeah. That's cool. So I was just translating a little bit, very poorly translating your little story about the going to drink hot sake.
ごめんね。
い
私はいつも邪魔しちゃうね。
い楽しい。So yeah, my wife says sorry for getting in the way. I just told her no, it's fun. It's makes for a nice change to the flow of my hobby time here. そうこれはねこの人は Twitch で見てる。このアイコンで Twitch で見てる。この人たちは YouTube で見てる。ちょっと同じタイミングでみんなは見てる。だからみんなのちょっとチャットはちょっと違う。でもこっちのスクリーンで、全部の話したことは見ることができる。だからそれは良かったです。She's cool。あなたはかっこいい。
Thank you 全然おばさんだって言っといて。
She said, "Nah, not at all. I'm already an old woman."
ただのおばさん。
Just a regular old woman. But yeah, thank you very much. I think she's cool too. But I won't translate that. It'll go to her head.
ねえ、これなんか、すごいね。
何がすごい
なんかこれがさ
このスクリーンで
何これ何これって思ってる。
これはストリーミング後でちょっと
もう元気がないと思う。後では
そうですね。多分すぐ寝ちゃうね。サラは一つのパンケーキを温めたサラは欲しいから、全部食べたサラはおいだから私はヨーグルト。So yeah, I had a spare pancake from this morning that we made. I was planning to have it as my dessert. I was going to share it maybe half and half with my daughter. My daughter was like, "I want all of it." I was like, "Oh, okay then." And then I was like, watching her as she eats it. I was like, oh, have you had enough? Are you full? She's like, nope, I'm eating it all. I was like, oh, okay, then I'm gonna go have a yogurt. But yeah. Yeah, it's all right. If she enjoys it. She enjoys it, and that's good. But there's one left for my wife, so she's had a busy day, working late, so she can go and enjoy a pancake at least. Ah, she's adorable. Adorable. That's a good word to learn. Kawaii. Kawaii. そんな感じで。
ありがとう。
Thank you very much. Yeah.
これは何である？これは何だ？
あ、それは私のインスタの写真。まあちょっとガラリーみたいな感じに出てる。
いろいろできるもんだね。
そう。時々YouTube ビデオをちょっと見せる。ちょっと CM みたいな感じように。でも今はまあちょっとギャラリーをやってる。だからちょっと途中でから私のレベルは全然わからないでしょ。でもこれを見たらレベルはちょっとわかる。どのぐらいのできる。
なるほどね。
ね。So yeah, just explaining the kind of like she's looking at the math screen, going, "Oh, what is all of this over here?" And "Oh, what are those pictures at the bottom?" And just kind of explaining, "Oh, yeah, those pictures are basically my Instagram pictures on a loop, so that at least when people come on, and they can at least see some idea of what I've painted." Sometimes hard to see what kind of level someone's painting is at when you're just on, sliking through unknown streamers painting, and when they've just got like a blank model, you don't really know kind of what their levels are like. So at least this gives some sense of what I paint and how I paint and my style. That's kind of the idea anyway. Because I am a slow painter, and so everyone kind of ends up watching me just do like simple stuff for ages, except for this dress, which I slapped together pretty fast today. I've already spent more time on this skin, but that's mainly because my wife's come in and we're having a good old chin wag. Alright, now she's going to be wearing socks because she's wearing kind of a traditional kimono, so it's going to be the kind of like the white sock wrap type thing going up there. So I'm going to paint them white. The inside, oh mind you, you can see her leg coming all the way down here.
やばい、急に眠くなってきちゃった。
じゃあ、ゆっくりして。後で私、まだお皿を洗ってない。でも、これは終わったら、私は洗うよ。いい、私洗うよ。大丈夫。
すごい、急に眠くなってきちゃった。
じゃあ、ゆっくりして。
楽しいんだよね。
ありがとう。でも、後でドアを閉めて、
Have fun!
My wife says, have fun. She's feeling a bit sleepy, so she's going to go and have a little lie down and a rest. Probably fall asleep. And probably leave my door open so the aircon, all of the aircon air that's been... Oh, there we go, thank you. Just close the door, I think she heard that. She's like, I understand that much of English. Yeah. So, normally my wife has kind of like takes no kind of interest in my kind of painting side of my life. She just knows it makes me happy, so she kind of just lets me get on with it, which is lovely. But it's kind of nice that she's come in and seen just like what a stream is and things like that. Oh, Ralph, thank you very much for joining us. It was a pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you very, very much. Thanks for helping me out with the mic and making sure everything was sounding correct. Um, yeah, and thank you very much. I think she was very happy to see everyone as well. Have a lovely day, Ralph. I'm guessing actually it'll be a lovely day for you because you're in Europe, so that means it's probably midday-ish, I'd imagine. So yeah, take care. Right, let's try and get this skin down, and then I think I'm going to be pretty pleased with where this model is actually going. Let's get this leg. Let's have her showing a little bit of leg there. Just a little bit of a tease. Don't know, I might make that a legging. I'm gonna have to just kind of maybe research exactly how women wear kimonos and like all of the garments that go into it, so I can kind of go at least a decent representation of it. But I have a feeling like these are going to be like the white socks. They're usually white on there, and then that's enough there. But I think the fact that she's normally you wouldn't see a leg because usually the whole thing's like wrapped around, and then you kind of do the little shuffle whilst wearing it. So the style of this is a little bit different. It's a bit more like a yukata than a kimono, but it's kind of got kimono-esque elements to it, like the bow on the back and things. But it kind of worn a bit more like a yukata, which is kind of like a summer festival kind of dress that the Japanese would wear. Right, let's have a go at now highlighting the other parts of her skin here. So just on the tops there, just want to hopefully build up a little bit of a blend. It's going to be so annoying doing this chest. Just going to have to kind of roughly do it. I don't think it's important that I get it perfect. I've just realised I have no music. Either that or my batteries in my earphone have gone, but I don't hear it go ba-doop-a-doop as it makes its noise. Do I actually want music though? Fine. No, I'm gonna stick it on. That'll be fine. Let's try that one. How's that one? Try to make a playlist, but this thing seems just really odd. So I might try again with the iTunes thing with music loaded into it and see if it works. Let's try. Okay. This one maybe. That'll do. I guess. We'll see if that's all right. Okay. So I'll try and get the skin looking as good as possible. Now I'm thinking of there is a painting competition over on Reddit in the mini painting subreddit, which they do every year, and so I've just realised that this is a bloody great big. That's not a finger. That's like an extra bit of metal that's just kind of sticking out. Oh my god. I wonder why that looks so odd. Oh no. It's a tail. I nearly tried to peel it off. It's the tail of the cat. Oh, god damn it. We'll deal with that later. So I was like, this finger's just so crazy looking. Yeah, that's because it's not a finger. Okay. Alright, we'll do a little bit of leg. And then we can go down to the next highlight. Why does it always keep going to this bloody song? I don't quite understand the whole thing with this song. This music is driving me nuts. It's on a loop of some kind, and it's not the loop I want. I'm just going to close that. What the hell? Let's see if that does a better job. I don't know. I'll have to see. I'll have to just wait and see. I thought it was on shuffle, but it doesn't seem to be so. I'm kind of blabbing at the moment, and I should just get on with doing a little bit of painting. So, one last bit with the Bugmans. Yeah, doing straight Bugmans for skin as though your main base tone is still too bright, I find. So that's why I kind of mix in a little bit of purple, cool it off a little bit for the shadows, and that's where I get kind of my really kind of happy happy shadowing kind of thing. That works for me anyway. It's a bit of Acadian into the Bugmans. And we'll start doing that next layer. There we go. Kind of put it on a little bit thick there, but we'll see how it dries. The thing is, it's a little bit watery. I have a feeling it's going to just dry with actually kind of a decent transparency, which would be what I hope for, as long as I pull the paint in the right direction. Yeah, that seems to have actually done a decent job there. There we go with that music again. Oh my god, that's annoying me. That is peeing me off. You are on random, aren't you? No, you weren't on random. That was the problem. Oh, for God's sakes. Oh, that's not the song it should be. I don't know. I'm gonna get that weird song again, I think, in a mo. Okay, we'll kind of get some nice skin tones going. Let's just keep it going up. Match it with the face a little bit. Don't want to go perhaps too bright with it, because then it's going to pull away from her face, and you really want the face to be the thing that draws your attention in. So I might not do. Oh, I guess we should still try and add a little bit of Kislev into the mix, just so we kind of get that consistency across, I guess. Certainly for the legs, we don't need anything more than we've done, I think, because they're in shadow, so I don't want them too bright underneath the dress. I'm probably going to be redoing some of that anyway. So let's just try and catch some of that there. Okay, let's go up to the Kislev, mix it in with a touch Acadian. And just catch some of those extremities, so it just hopefully keeps a fair bit of contrast there. That would be the aim. I'm just going to do a touch on the thigh. There we go. That's, I think, all I need on that leg. I don't want to do any more on that leg there. Yeah. Okay, let's do one last bit of highlight. Right, it's just the Kislev. This one is just going to catch some of those edges a little bit more. And then I think there we go. Okay. Oh, I didn't do the back of her neck. That's going to be a pain. Alright, back of the neck, and then we're basically done with the skin tones. We can have a look at some other areas of this model. Now, to see if this dress is really work. Do I still want to do some more of this dress though before I start adding details to the dress? Or do I just stick with what I got? I have a feeling that if I start messing around too much with it, I'm going to screw it up. And that would be a shame. Okay, right. Now let's say the skin is basically done. Okay. Alright, we're getting there. Now, what kind of hair do I want to do for her? Now, I could go like anime and do a kind of crazy anime style colourful hair, which I did on this model here, which I'm still basing at the moment, so they're off their bases. Or we could go with a little bit more of maybe kind of like a lighter brown. I think I like the idea of kind of kind of almost like maybe a chestnut brown, where we can go quite dark on maybe the inside of it where there's shadow and things, and then get really kind of like a very lightish brown. Might be kind of nice. And then we can bring in colour with the flower. I think that's what we're going to go for. Then we've kind of got some nice contrasts going there. I'm going to get some brown. We're just going to put some brown on. And I think, to be honest, that's roughly where we're going to be tonight. We're already at 11 o'clock for me here. I think when I get to 11:30, that's going to be a couple of hours of me, roughly a couple of hours of me doing the stream, which, you know, I could go longer, but I do have work in the morning. But yeah, let's just get a little bit more done on this lovely lass. let's see if we can kind of figure out this hair. Now, the problem with doing it this brown is that it might blend in with the colour of her skin a little bit too much, and so you kind of lose some of that impact of the skin tone of the face. So I might need to add some contrast between the brown of the hair and, to be honest, the brown of the skin, because all skin colours are kind of brown. It's just what kind of pigments of brown are going to be in there. So I can always line it a little bit with a bit of thinned down black, just to kind of make that contrast again a bit punchy, a bit like what we did with the eyes, where we lined it black, basically. We can do the same sort of thing for the hair, where it meets the face. But we might be okay, you know. We'll see as we go lighter, because we're going to kind of change the tone of the brown as we kind of go up. Now, how am I going to get this to the brown that I want? Or I go a bit lighter on her hair. It's going to be a bit tricky. How we're going to do that? How we're going to do that? Now I could mix in a little bit of the white into that brown, just to kind of give it a much lighter blend. Let's just give it a go with some ice yellow just to see how that's gonna look. Just gonna get some of this old ice yellow just to experiment, where we can kind of get this very light. We're gonna need a little bit more brown in there. And then hopefully that will help us a bit. Now, has my music just died again? I think it has. Oh, forget the music. I'm gonna have to figure that out for another day. Right, let's give this one a go. So what I want to do is just draw it up. Luckily there's a lot of detail in this hair already, so we're just catching a lot of it and just drawing it up, keeping some of that brown in the deeper recesses, the darker brown. And we kind of got this kind of light coffee brown coming up from it there, which makes it kind of easier to highlight some of the areas. I'm sorry, I'm whispering again, I think. Because the music stopped, I start to whisper. So that's kind of like the advantage of me having music, is that it allows me to make sure that I'm speaking loud enough to be heard. Without it, I start to mumble and go very quiet. So it's kind of important for me to have music in my ear, even if I'm a bit random. Oh, thank you. Oh, was that Nux Vomica again? I thought you had already you followed. So thank you very much for following again. That's great. I think I heard it. I heard it. I got a. Oh, Quinn Murphy. Oh, thank you very much, Quinn Murphy, for subscribing. Welcome. I just hasn't updated on my thing there. So yeah, thank you very much for joining. Uh, yeah, thank you for following. It's always a pleasure that someone does. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm just trying to highlight the raised edges here. Then we can kind of keep some of the shadow. I'm going too much again. I do this all the time. I do a little bit too much and I ruin the effect I'm going for. Okay, that's going to be enough for now. Right, we're going to go a little bit lighter with the one that I made here earlier. And this is going to be in a smaller area. So just catching a few of them. There we go. Just where the light's going to be hitting the hair the most. This bit that's stranded down there would be good. A little bit on there. Definitely at the front. We want to draw the eye. We're going to keep that darker brown there on the underside of the bob. And that works there. But yeah. Okay. I don't quite know why my... Sorry, it hasn't updated who's... Oh, you've subscribed. Oh, thank you, Quinn Murphy, for subscribing. That's what we did. All right. I was thinking it was a follow. Thank you very much indeed, Quinn Murphy. That's very, very kind of you. I think you're the first subscriber for me, so thank you very, very much. That's why I was like, why is my follower not updating to Quinn Murphy? You actually subscribed. Thank you very, very much. I'm not actually really sure what that means exactly for Twitch. I really don't know Twitch so well, and I've just been doing it as a very casual thing for my painting. So thank you very much. I'm gonna go and find out what that actually means compared to just following. So thank you very much. What was I doing? Oh yeah. Now I think I might well go a little bit darker as well. So we're gonna just try and mix in a little bit of the black in with the brown, just to get it a touch darker. And we're going to use that to just kind of hit some of these areas that are going to be possibly darker from the light, just coming down underneath. Again, just so we can build up a little bit more contrast around the hair here. It might need a little bit of work blending it in properly, to be honest. I may be going a little bit too much. I should actually be stroking my brush up, because where it's going to be darkest is where that bob does that hard curve. And so I want to be stroking my brush up towards that until it gets to that point where it's the darkest. And then, yeah, there we go. Now, what we can also do with this is, if it's thin enough, we can line some of this as well. And hopefully we can kind of help the skin pop from the hair, kind of define it a little bit more strongly there. There we go. And it's just a small amount, but hopefully that just helps the face just pop a little bit more out. There we go. That's looking all right. But yeah. Okay. I'm pretty pleased with where she is going right now. It's not too bad. I've got to decide on what colour I'm going to be painting the cat, the little kitty cat. If there's any suggestions on a type of cat that you particularly like. What I'm actually thinking about, I'm not sure I'll be able to show a photo of it at the moment, but there is, I used to live in Wakayama, which is a bit of a country town. But they famously have a cat that is the station master for one of their stations, and I could paint the cat in that kind of style. And if I was good enough at it as well, I would probably make like a little station master's hat to stick on the top out of epoxy putty. But I'm not that good at sculpting and things, especially that small, so I'm not going to do that, although that would be kind of fun. To have this little station master cat that she's holding up. Now, do I do the kind of, is it hibiscus flower that's in her hair there? I'm wondering if I do that, a kind of a pinkish, maybe with the yellow center with the pink to white kind of petals. I think that might be kind of nice. I've got some pink on my palette here. If it's still good enough to use. It's been there for about a week, but we're going to try and use it anyway because I don't like to be wasteful. Oh no, got some of my yellow mixed in already. Oops. There we go. Some areas are more watery than others, and others a bit dry. It's kind of weird how the wet palette does that. But we're going to take some of the more slightly wetter areas, and as long as the pigments are still strong, it should be okay. So I'm actually going to paint the whole thing pink, mainly because pink is great for yellows. So, oops, I'm just being messy already. We can go over that with the brown in a bit. Shouldn't be too much of a bother. There we go, got that pink on there. All right, now with the pink on, the next thing. Oh, thank you for following. Welcome, Professor Papel. Thank you. Always very nice to have someone come and join. Thank you very much. And so, I'm just going to try and get this flower done on this lady's hair. And then I'm trying to call it a night, I think, after that. Because I can tell I'm getting a little bit tired and it's harder for me to actually speak. I'm getting a bit more lost in what I'm trying to say. But let's get that yellow on for the flower there. We want a nice brightish colour. So, do I go as far as the lemon yellow again? I might try that. I'm just going to pop down a little bit of this first as my base. It's a gold brown. Heavy gold brown, I believe it's called, which is a Vallejo game colour. It's kind of like a little bit of a darker shade of Avalon Sunset, the GW paint. It's pretty close to that. So I'm just going to pop in the center there, the yellow. Okay, let's just pop that one in. Now, the question is, okay, I probably want to get, I might be able to still use that. Again, this is terrible thing to do, is to use old paint on your palette that's not really up to snuff anymore. But I'm terrible at wanting to not let paint be wasted, or if I don't need to pour some out, I'll try and avoid it as best as I can. It's not a good habit to have, to be honest. Paint is so cheap and it goes so far with what we do with these models that it's really, I'm never going to run out of lemon yellow if I just keep on using a splodge of it every time I want to use it. and I would avoid a lot of headaches that I might have if I did that. But here we are. That's kind of how I function with this. Right, I'm going to mix in a bit of white with the pink that we used earlier, and we're just going to kind of push this from the pink in the center to a white on the edge. Hopefully make the petals stand out a little bit more. Just going to try and, luckily, like the sculpt of this is pretty good, so I can actually use the edge of my brush just to highlight each of the petals if they go out. Like that. Alright, okay, well, let's try going up to white and just seeing how that turns out. If that's so good, that's going to be good. Last little bit. Take a little bit of just pure white here. Not sure if it's pure white. What have I got? Is this off-white? I can't remember. Maybe off-white is the color name anyway. And yeah, just one last highlight of that. Just punches up the contrast a little bit on that flower there. And then, yeah, that flower kind of stands out. It's, I'm going to stick my arm in there, it overexposes too much. But yeah, there we go. There's the lady. She's coming along. We've got the skin tones pretty much down. The hair is almost there. And I kind of like the hair as we've got it. It's coming out okay. I might try and... It's a little bit faded, perhaps. Perhaps we could get a little bit more contrast out of it, make it look a little bit better. The flowers, okay. I might need to still do some work on the dress to try and get some of those transitions a little bit done a little bit better, and get some of the way the light falls on it a little bit more natural. It's a little bit all over the shop at the moment, but it's not too bad. And then we can actually start getting on with some other areas of the model. I've got to have a look at also how exactly women wear the kimonos and the socks and things like that. And exactly, I think you can actually see where the sock line comes up. So I think I'll probably do it from there, and then it is just actual skin tones above that. So it should be okay as she's been painted. I think that would be okay. We just go over some of the bit we went too far with the skin tone. And I've got to do her suitcase as well. I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with that one. And then we've got to figure out as well what is the color of the lining. Now I could go with a full contrast and have perhaps a yellow for the lining, so that the yellow and the purple have that kind of complementary contrast. Might be a bit too much, I don't know. Perhaps we can find some other colors to work with that. And we've got to do that kind of center strap one as well. Then also we've got to try and work out those flowers that are built into the dress and what color they're going to be in comparison to the purple of the dress. So whether they may be a type of green, perhaps, we can try and figure that one out later. For tonight though, I'm going to call that done. I'm pretty pleased with the progress of this one. I wasn't expecting the dress to come out as well as it kind of did so far. It's still not perfect, but it's looking all right. So I'm gonna kind of finish off for tonight. Before I go completely, I'll probably take some before I go to bed anyway. I'll take some photos and put them on Instagram, so if you want to check out some better shots of the model so far, so you can kind of see some of the details that I've been working on and perhaps how poorly it looks. We'll see. We'll have a go at that. But thank you very, very much for joining. It was a really nice chat today, just to kind of just to give me a chance to just chat away for a little bit. So thanks very, very much. Thank you for all the new followers as well that I have there on Twitch. Thank you. And again, thank you. Thank you, Quinn Murphy, for subscribing as well. I think that's the first time I've had that happen. So thanks very much and take care. Bye bye.